hype, FOMO, buyouts, manipulation! Ladies and gentlemen, in tonight's video, the following Scarlet and Violet era cards we are going to talk about, despite all of that, have had essentially just incredible years. Ladies and gentlemen, this might as well be the hottest Pokemon cards of the year. Scarlet and Violet edition. But first... What the hell? That has got to go. We are giving that away right now. This is too big. Yes, this has got to go.
Good evening, Seismitoad.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. DJ's Poke Corner, one of you and one of me. He's a viewer and he's a PokeTuber. Go ahead and check him out. He is absolutely adding to the plethora of community giveaways we are doing on this channel right here and now. Ever since Poke Positivity September, we just kept on rolling. We keep on doing a ton of giveaways. And for this giveaway, hashtag DJ. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you guys 2 opportunities to win this Lucario EX Premium Collection with the figure, with the Destined Rivals, with all that stuff, with the Derpy Q. If you want 2 opportunities to win that box right there, well, guess what? You have to be a subscriber, hashtag DJ in tonight's video, and then again in tomorrow night's hottest cards of the week, hashtag DJ. I'm going to give you 2 opportunities to get in the running to win that box. Tonight's video, this is not technically the hottest card, like percentage wise, like, ooh, this one up 5,000 bazillion %, but it's a card nobody cares about. No, these are all popular, best-selling cards that you actually care about that are from the Scarlet and Violet era that on the 1-year chart, whether they got manipulated or not, basically every Pokemon card in existence got manipulated at some point this year, okay? These cards, whether they did or not, they handled it beautifully, just like Magikarp did the first 8 times when it started out at $40 and made its way all the way up to $300. What I am telling you is that the cards that I'm going to show you right here and now, they are doing great this year, and I think they are going to continue doing great next year. Okay, let's get to it. Alright, here we go. But before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, there are 2 very important things you must never forget in life. You can forget a lot of things in life. Do not forget these 2 very important things. If you ever need a binder, you go to vaultex.com and you use code VaultexBrew to receive 10% off your first order. And if you ever need supplies, you go to bcwsupplies.com and use BCWBrew. Don't you ever forget that. Vaultex Brew, BCW Brew. Thank you to both those companies. Okay, so first of all, this is all Scarlet and Violet era. Why? Because I'm actually going to do a Sword and Shield exclusive video next week, and I am considering doing an all promo video. So that is why we are doing, these are the hottest, essentially, cards of this year that I think you could be safe buying at a lot of these price points, and they're going to continue to do good next year. This is all Scarlet and Violet, and in fact, this is the only promo we're going to talk about, because we are going to start off tonight's video with the 2 most just winning cards of the SV era this year in general. And if I'm going to bring that up, we are going to talk about, of course, none other than Pikachu with gray felt hat, Van Gogh Pikachu, which is right here, ladies and gentlemen. So on the 1 year, 176 up to an all-time high of $638 is where we were at right now. So you can see consistent uptrend. This one never even actually did get manipulated. There's a lot of cards that had a lot of buyouts in today's video. This one is going up on lower volume, as you can see here, going up on lower volume. So this is probably the #1 breadwinner of the entire year of the Scarlet and Violet era is stupid gray felt hat Van Gogh Pikachu from 180 up to 640. But also, we already know about Bubble Mew, yes. So Bubble Mew, you know, we have some more buyouts, kind of, but all in all on the 1-year chart, this is clearly the #1 and #2 winners of the year of the era, like easily. I don't think you're gonna have too many people argue with that point, but that's $207 up to a high of $700, and now we're sitting at a very modest $550. So these 2 cards, ladies and gentlemen, you're talking 200 up to 700, sitting at 550. So many PokeTubers, influencers, fans, you name it. When this card was under $100 back before, and even when the only expensive card in the whole era was Greninja, we all said this card could end up being one of the most valuable cards of the era. and it is really acting like it. So I would not be surprised if this isn't the end of the story for Bubble Mew and it just keeps doing certain things. But okay, so here's how the rest of the video is going to go. We just covered the 2 hottest, just in general, popular cards of the SV era. I'm now going to do some random stuff, like full arts, some baby shinies, little this, little that real quick, and then I'm going to be honest with you. Because I'm Mimic Brew, and my number 1 and 2 things are pretty much illustration rares and Black Star promos, the entire second half of this video is going to be illustration rares, I'm just being honest. But yeah, so anyway, we'll start out with some SIRs though, and some other things. So here we go. So right off the bat, we're going to start out with some very hot SIRs that have had fantastic years. Okay, so Zapdos EX, the SIR from Scarlet and Violet 151, we're pretty much always going to stay on 1-year charts for this video tonight. But when it comes to all of them, including Chonky Boy, because Chonky Boy is from 180 to 250, and you know, that's fine, that's pretty good, but at the same time, you know, Zapdos right here is up almost 54% on the year, and if I did this video last week, would be up much more than 54% on the year. So this was a $40-something IR a year ago, and it was, ever since release, it was a $40-something IR. And now we just hit a recent high of almost $100, and we are sitting here at $72. So when it comes to all the SV151 SIRs, I honestly believe better than all of them, including Zardy Boy, and including Venusaur, because Venusaur is only up like 20 bucks on the year. Because Venusaur was actually a pretty high a year ago today. Zapdos EX is probably the best performing SIR of the year from SV151. Okay, and another thing I'm just gonna tell you guys about right here now before we continue in this video. Not only is there gonna be a lot of illustration rares, there's going to be a lot of Paldea Evolved. A lot of Paldea involved, just in general, okay? A lot of early SV era cards are in tonight's video. So Tinkaton EX SIR from Paldea Evolved, ladies and gentlemen, on the 1 year was $17, and we have now twice in the last 6 months hit a high of $35. Tinkaton EX SIR from Paldea Evolved is now sitting at $1.50 off its all-time high at $33.35. Moving along, ladies and gentlemen, but we are not moving very far. We are going to the Goldfish, Chi-Yu Goldfish. Yeah, so kind of a very similar chart. This car is 22 bucks, and it just cracked over $30 for the second time, let's say, in the last 9 months, and just hit an all-time high of $37 at the end of October, and is right here and now at $32. That is Chi-Yu EX. Special illustration rare. Okay, now we're going to go back one. We're going to go back to Gardevoir from SV base set. So Gardevoir on the SV base set 1 year, you clearly see how good it's doing on the 1 year. It's from 30, and then it went up into the 50 range, and then, oh no, we're all cooling off. The market is cooling. Oh, wait, never mind. All-time high, $62. And now it is floating right at its previous all-time high of $55. And that is Gardevoir EX SIR from Scarlet and Violet base set. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a connected, or a story, an art, either a connected artwork or an artwork that goes along with other cards that have artworks that tell a story. This will be a theme in tonight's video, as well as a theme for cards that do well for years to come in the Scarlet and Violet era. You will notice connected artworks do well. It is a buff. So Gardevoir EX SIR, there you go. Bang bang, at basically just a little bit off its all-time high. Moving along, $7 off its all-time high. Now we're going to the Rift. We're going up 3 sets. So now we're into Paradox Rift SV04. And Altaria, this card, yes, it did have a big old manipulation, but this card seemed to be gaining traction before a year ago, and then it got this big boosty to $70, and then it goes all the way down to a new high, but given all of it back at $35. But then look, over the last 3 months, all we've seen is uptrend, and it is now a $45 card. So all in all, despite its 30 to all the way to 70, you see uptrending. So on the 1 year, we have 30 to 45 with positive uptrend and going up on lower volume. So Altaria EX SIR, it's doing way better than Roaring Moon. If you look at Roaring Moon over the last year versus this one, Altaria's having a much less volatile year and seems to be looking like it's uptrending maybe even more than Roaring Moon. Okay, moving along. Mew EX, we're going to look at a couple full arts from Paladin Fates. So, in general, full arts before a year ago, the Charizard from Obsidian Flames was the only one worth anything. But then this one showed up. Oh, other than playability cards like Pheasantipity. Playability full arts, obviously, but when it comes to collectability, there was the Charizard from OF, and that's about it. But then this Mew showed up, and it started getting really expensive this year. And yes, or no? Am I going to talk about Temporal Forces Gengar? I don't know. That's another one. But anyway, maybe we will. We'll find out in a second. It's from $10 up to $31, and it is sitting at $25. It's up 150% on the one-year chart for Mew EX, the regular full art from Paladin Fates. Moving along. Oh, we are. There it is. Holy moly. Gengar EX full art from Temporal, the Forces of Temporal. So, almost the exact same thing, although it was worth slightly more than Mew. It was worth $5 more. It was worth $15 a year ago. But as you can see here, it is also up 146. Wait, what? How much was Mew up? Whoa! So Mew is up 145.30% on the 1 year, and Gengar is up a literally 1% more. So they're almost exactly identical. That's crazy. So anyway, Gengar from the Forces of Temporal was from 14 up to 41, is now sitting at basically $36. So there's your two most winningest full arts of the SV era this year, are these two right here. Hell yeah, look at them go. Look at them. Look how different they look. All right, let's go to some baby shinies, because there's some baby shinies doing real good. Starting with Ditto right here. So Ditto, Ditto, Ditto at $9. And then Ditto hit the high of $23. And when you look at this, you see a slightly lower volume, but you see higher lows, and you see it starting to wiggle up again. And Ditto is basically a $20 baby shiny that is just showing, in general, slight uptrend. Ditto doing amazing. And Snorlax, just like Ditto, also doing amazing. I'm saying Ditto, like Ditto. Never mind, I'm done. It's from, you get what I was trying to do there. It's 25, down to 18, it's crashing. Oh, no. It's back up to 25. Snorlax Baby Shiny from Paladin Fates is essentially right $1 away from its all-time high again. So, Snorlax showing strength, Baby Shiny, Ditto showing strength. There's a couple others that are also doing good. But it started out, and it was Pikachu and Charmander, and that was about it. Whereas over the last year, Ditto and Snorlax, and Mimikyu, by the way, have done very well. Okay, so now we're going to get into connected artworks. Yes, now we're going to get into some connected artworks, as well as one last SIR, and that is Perrin from Twilight Gatorade. So Perrin from Twilight Gatorade on the 1 year chart. You can see $55. Whoa, passing Carmine easily right there. And then it becomes $100 and something SIR waifu trainer card with the connected IR artwork and Hisuian Growlithe, which you can see right there, just staring back at you smiling. But then we had 106, right? And then you're like, oh no, who cares? It's a waifu. It literally only dropped down to 80 something bucks, and then it just crossed over $100, which is a huge benchmark, again for the second time at the end of November when everything is crashing. Oh my god. Perrin just cracked 100 again. So there you go. Perrin, trainer, SIR, connected artwork, Twilight Gatorade doing good. Bang, Growlithe, the other card in this scenario. So this was $7.50. Hit the big ol' February Illustration Rare Appreciation Month buyout pump. But then over the last 4 to 6 months, we went from 13 and we're just slowly working our way to 20. And right here you see a big ol' sell-off. So what I'm saying is $15 might be a great opportunity to scoop this card up before it starts going up again. Perrin is going up again. A lot of connected artwork IRs are going up again. This card on the 1 month just had a big ol' recent volume bar that is dropping its price. So this may be your opportunity to get this card at a few dollars off before it goes up again in a month. Moving along to Plusle and Minum. Plus and minus. Paradox and Rift. So Plusle and Minum, same thing. These two get the buff because they're connected and they're both doing well. Do Plusle and Minum feel like they should be $25 IRs? No, of course not. They're Plusle and Minum. But the connected artworks, the artwork sometimes does help. I know we say we use artwork as an excuse to pump things, but when it comes to connected artworks over the last 2 years, they are actually proving to be a good strategy when it comes to investing in raw Pokemon cards. Because Plusle and Minum, between the two of them, will set you back $50. Yeah, so 20, even Minum's more, so $52 or $53. Both of these cards were essentially $10 and $15, so $35. They've gained a lot and they're still going up on lower volume. Plusle and Minum are literally still going up from their mid-year lows, I guess you can call them, and they're both firmly high $20 IRs at this point. So there you go. And then next is, of course, Deerling and Sazbuck. Same exact scenario, just from temporal forces. So on the 1 year, this was less than $8, went way up during Illustration Rare Appreciation Month to 23, but it only went back down to 16. I think that's very important. Deerling went from 8 way up and only gave half back before trending up again. Bunch of subset buyouts related to IRs early in the year. It literally doubled or tripled, quadrupled, and then it doubled, and now it's going up again. So I'm just saying, Deerling got pumped up to $23. Deerling 9 months later is $21.50. That is looking very strong for Deerling. Are you kidding me? Sazbug, this card was in the 30s. This card at $37 went all the way back to 20 from 10. So it went from 10 or 11 way up, but then still retained half its pump value and is now going all the way back up to that high. Not really all the way, but it's almost $30. So Sazbuck and Deerling, a $20 and a $30 IR. Not very popular Pokemon, but the cards themselves very popular. All right, more Peko. More Peko from the Rift again. This is one that's just simply put handling buyouts well and stacking value after buyouts. So it was a $9, $10, $8 card. Big old buyout to 26. Gives a majority of the back. Another massive buyout all the way to 50 something. And now we are a $30+ IR. This might be one that stays 30+. It just might. And again, this is just a card handling buyout and manipulation well due to lack of copies. Here we do see that we have 83 copies available, which overall, that is significantly less than your smaller sets like Journey Together, Stellar Crown, Obsidian Flames. It's a respectable amount. It's not too much, and it's more than Black Bolt and White Flare. Yeah, 80 is fine. It's not too little. It's not. It's like right in the middle. Okay, Steelix. Here's another one. It had 2 big uptrends, but it just keeps stacking and adding value overall. Another one for Paradox Rift. So $20, $36, all the way down to only $2 over, 30 again. So I'm just saying Steelix on lower volume. Maybe this just settles around a $30 IR. Part of this video, ladies and gentlemen, is because a lot of these cards are more expensive than they used to be. I think a lot of these have downside protection. That's part of the reason I'm doing this video. I don't think a card like Steelix will ever go back down to under $20. I think this has a lot of downside protection. With the exception of Bubble Mew, I think a lot of these cards have downside protection attached to them based off just evaluating the 1-year charts. So that's another reason I'm doing this. I think a lot of these are solid buys. All right, moving on. Graverd from SV Base. Very similar to big ol' uptrends, but stacking value. So 1 year ago was $4. $4. Yeah, and then 25, and then $6, and then 33. I think Graverd is now a permanent $20 IR. That's kind of what I'm going with here. I don't think it's necessarily a $25, $35, $40 IR. I do think Graverd's had a great year as far as going from being a $4 IR to potentially a permanent $20 IR from SV Base set. Okay, moving along. Kirlia, another connected artwork one. So Kirlia on the 1 year. $13, $34, $20, but then a recent high of 30. And I would say, let's see here. So on the 1 month, it's not like a hardest cards of the week or anything, but when you zoom out, I see consistent volume, maybe going up on lower volume, to be honest. When I'm looking at August, I'm seeing a slight decrease in volume, and I'm seeing a clear uptrend in market value since August of this year. For Kirlia, okay, Riolu, another SV base. So many early SV era set cards on here. This one handled the pump better than anybody. This thing was like $8, $9. Riolu from SV base. It goes all the way up in January of 28. It only went down to 20, and then it tapped 28 again, and then it's sitting here around $25 at $23.30. I think Riolu has had a fantastic year overall, handled any manipulation or buyout very well, and obviously Mega Lucario, the Mega era, that kind of helped boost Riolu up again and helped Riolu maintain a second wind that helped help this market price you see here. But nevertheless, this was an $8 or $9 IR, and it's now a $20+ IR. and I think a lot of people would feel comfortable paying 20 bucks for this IR at this point. Moving along to Fuecoco. A lot of Paldea, okay? Fuecoco, okay, I think the 1 year chart is broken, sadly, on Fuecoco, but it was $13 on the 1 year. Literally 13, so down here where my mouse is, up to $25. Very good. Because the 1 year is broken, I'm unfortunately just going to move on. Sprigatito right here. Same thing. It was $17, and now it's twice, maybe even 3 times, gone up over $20 consistently, and seems to be holding plus $20 value. So both Fuecoco and Sprigatito from Paldea seem to be $20 plus IRs. Here's another one. This is the new Raichu and T-Tar Mousehold. So this is one of those cards I've been telling you guys that watch Hottest Cards of the Week, who watch it week in, week out. I've been talking about it a lot. And yeah, so I've been expecting this card to be $60 for a long time now, and it is. So there it is, $13 all the way up to 60 something. That is up $360. Yes, it is a beautiful card. It is a Paldea Evolved IR, 36 of them, so very difficult to pull any specific Paldea Evolved illustration rare. And so much of Paldea was printed and ripped before all this hype, before this year. Even the one-time only Paldea reprint happened way before 2025. So, early SV era IRs that are difficult to grade, there's a reason those PSA 10s go for a lot of money, so the raw copies are also going up in value. Marill, okay, so a year ago, 15 all the way up to 37, but then we went all the way down to 20, but we've done nothing but go up since. Nice, kind of healthy on lower volume. Marill from Paldea is now $26, and again, that was an all-time high of 37. But to me, this looks like a popular Pokemon, a popular card. A lot of people like this. A lot of people like this Marill, just in general. Anytime I do IR appreciation videos, a lot of people bring up Marill if I don't bring it up. So there you go. So 36 down to 20. Overall, it's just from 15 up to 26. But that's a solid 67% on the 1 year for Marill. Okay, Miss Magus. Literally, that whole section, by the way, was just Paldea Evolved. So Paldea Evolved, Miss Magus, $10. We hit the 20. We got pumped up to 25. Well, guess what? It wasn't done. This was not a drowsy scenario. This thing's already all the way back up. Over the course of the last 3 months, Miss Magus has went all the way from 15 up to $24, and it's been sitting around $24 for the last few weeks. Miss Magus, are we done with Paldea yet? Oh my god. Cleffa, okay, next set, Obsidian Lames. So Cleffa used to be a $2 IR, then it was a $3 IR, then it became a $4 IR, and then 2025 happened, and it was $8 at that point, and it went up to 27, gave back, a fair amount, but still, it was up double. It literally maintained half its value after the February pump, and we went down to 13, but now here we are again, up into the 20s. Up into the 20s, 6 straight months of uptrend. Recently, lower volume. Cleffa's looking good. Okay, good. From the Forces of Temporal. Yes. Ghastly. This card from day one. Not A1, but Manipulation. Yes, this card, the first day of Temporal Forces release, got manipulated up to $200 freaking dollars. Who remembers that? Who was here when Temporal Forces was like the new set? Please raise your hand in the comment section. Do you remember Ghastly going up to like 80, 90, 200 freaking dollars? Anyway, here we go. On the 1 year, 25 up to 67, currently giving a lot back. But Ghastly has been uptrending and has been a popular card all year long. Yes, it is literally a $60 illustration rare, up 132% on the 1 year chart. We are almost done. Yes. Metagross from the Forces of Temporal. Yeah, okay, here's one where it had the big thing. $12 at the time was already really good for Metagross, and it was already uptrending, okay? But then it got the boosties, and it went all the way up to 38, but then it went back down to a new, a 1 year high of 15, but then basically since it went weep to 15, right? It's just been 10 cents, 20 cents, 18 cents, 25 cents, been working its way back up over the last 4 months, and now it looks to me like a $20 illustration rare. All right, moving along, Chansey Twilight Gatorade. So Chansey a year ago today was $8.80. It got the boosties to 30, and then it got the boosties to 45, and now Chansey is sitting at a very respectable $35 and something, who cares, cents. Chansey from Twilight Gatorade up 300% on the 1 year chart. Moving along, Horsey. Yes, Horsey. So Horsey was $10. Then Horsey got the boosties all the way up to 25. But then Horsey has just been very consistently holding $17.50, $18, $19, and barely wiggled its way up over $20. So I think no downside risk whatsoever. This Horsey is a worst case scenario, $20 IR. And maybe get yourself a clean copy now in case Horsey starts uptrending to $30. Move it along. Tatsuguri. Right here, we got $10 to $20. So you see, big old boosties to 35, but now it's a $20 IR, whereas it started the year as a $10 IR. Yes, Tatsuguri over the last 3 months has been very slowly trying to tell me it wants to be a $20 IR. And because I've been bringing it up a lot over Hottest Card of the Week, it finally made it, and it's finally a $20 IR. Good for you, Tatsuguri. Either way, again, 10 to 20, despite the buyout. Moving along. All right, we're going to end with Squirtle and Bulbasaur, ladies and gentlemen, from Stellar Not So Frown. So Squirtle and Bulbasaur equally, these two, they were both $38, $40 a year ago, and they both hit crazy highs of like 65 and 90. And now they're sitting at very respectable higher percentages that are approximately 60%. So let's see. First of all, on the 1 year, Bulbasaur is from literally $40 only to like 60, and that's where it's sitting at. But I'm just saying, this Bulbasaur illustration rare is probably my favorite Bulbasaur card of all time. And to be honest, this Squirtle is probably my favorite Squirtle card of all time. Without these cards, Stellar Crown is awful. I hate to say it. But with these two cards, Stellar Crown is going to turn into one of those Charizard sets where it's pull Charizard or bust and you don't care about too much else. Only you're going to be able to pull a Squirtle and a Bulbasaur. So I think that is very cool. And I think both of these, they have about 100 copies available each. In general, they're both uptrending, and I see both Squirtle and Bulbasaur from Stellar Crown holding a ton of value. Maybe even one of the two of them, like Squirtle, becoming a permanent $80, $90, $100 IR someday and just becoming the definitive chase from Stellar Crown. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done here. Yes. Once again, I want to thank DJ's Poke Center, not Corner, my bad. DJ's Poke Center, hashtag DJ. And again, if you want 2 opportunities to win, you'll just do hashtag DJ again tomorrow on Hottest Cards of the Week, tomorrow night. So thank you very much. And once again, I will be doing a Sword and Shield and probably a promo version of this video over the next week or two. And like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow on Hottest Card of the Week.